Well, first and foremost, how's everybody doing today? Doing all right? What a great place to have a bowl game. Say this, thanks for the weather. It's been outstanding. Coming from Montana, I sent a couple pictures. Believe me, they wish they were here. But I can't tell you, this has been just a great week for us. And, well-deserved reward for a bunch of guys that gave of themselves for the benefit of others and played their tails off. And I'm just so proud of them. The people, from the bowl itself, the Citrus Bowl Committee, Buffalo Wild Wings, the Orlando Police Department. And I got to tell you this now. This place we're staying is Rose and Shingles Creek place. Whoa, I'm telling you what now. I didn't know if I was supposed to take my shoes off when I walked in the lobby or not, but my mom would have told me to anyway. This has just been a great deal, and again, I'm just excited for being in Orlando, a great Gator town, and looking forward to a good ball game tomorrow in a stadium that since the last time we were here, they've done an outstanding job with. It's a big time venue now. I think those of you who have been there or maybe haven't seen it since they've renovated it, we're fortunate enough to see a couple of the high school championship games in there, and I was, they've done a great job with it. So with that, we'll take some questions.
Got one of them.
You have to tape your ankles this fast you were running back there. That's pretty good.
In your first news conference, right after you were announced as coach, you
I
said
can't even remember that. When was that?
last November, beginning of December.
Okay, good.
You had mentioned that you would be, looking forward to someday making it to the SEC championship, playing against one of your former bosses, and just looking forward to having a successful season. Did you ever imagine that it would be this successful in your first year with the Gators?
Well, it's interesting because, kind of growing up, it doesn't matter what you do, you go expect to win. And, that's something that, not a lot of people have ever even given any of us, kind of much thought that, who the heck are these guys, kind of deal. And I was really proud of how our guys attacked the off season going into the season. And just keep developing the fact that, you can do anything you want to do. It's a choice. And, I'm getting there at the early, in the first year. I think that outstanding thing is we got a taste of it. But probably more than that, we had a group of seniors who had never been there. And when you think about the University of Florida, there hadn't been many classes that haven't played a game in that dome for the SEC championship. So I was really happy for them to have that opportunity.
Hey, Jim, you ever think about how you and the coach for Michigan, both named Jim, both quarterbacks in college, both took over brand name programs, both offensive-minded guys, both had the success, and both end up here against each other?
Well, I think, first of all, calling me a quarterback in the same category as Jim Harbaugh, the guy played in the NFL, for Christ's sakes, right? So, I didn't. And, I was really excited to run through the tunnel at Woodward Stadium in Cheney. So, some of you look that up. That's a beautiful place. It really is. So, I haven't thought of that, other than the fact, obviously I'm well aware of what he's done and what he's, accomplished and obviously at both levels of football. And I think the one similarity, both of us growing up sons of coaches, grew up with it, grew up in it, and it's a passion to be able to coach and affect young men's lives in a positive way. And, I studied what he did at Stanford whenever we could grab some film, and they do some great stuff, and he obviously knows how to do it at all levels.
Coach, you mentioned you're a former quarterback, you're an offensive mind. Just in preparation for this game, what have you seen from Michigan's defense that either you guys might be able to take advantage of or that they do very well and you'll need to watch out for?
Well, just look at it statistically. What they've done defensively is real. And, how they keep people out of the end zone is pretty fantastic. And they've got them playing at a high level, and they're competitive. They don't give you anything easy. They don't give up a lot of explosive plays. I think that's the one thing that kind of you take note. When you break down the explosive play reels, be it run or pass, and you're able to get through it in about 12 minutes, that means they haven't had a lot, as you look at it. So they do a heck of a job.
Coach Tim Drevno off their staff has talked about coaching with you.
Drevs.
Yeah.
Shackles and chains, man. He's awesome.
What do you remember about coaching with
Oh,
him?
Timmy's awesome now. We were together back at Montana State. Coach for a guy by the name of Cliff Heisel, a defensive guy that has since passed, and one of the really good defensive minds out there of all time. He was an assistant with Jim Sweeney back, out in Fresno, and he's a Montana guy. And Tim and I, we went through a lot there, and it was great to see him the other day. I'm just so excited for, how he's moved through this profession, and I'm sure he was scratching his head when he was going for the head job at University of San Diego, and they hired this guy by the name of Jim Harbaugh, and Jim kept him there. And he mentioned to me how grateful he was for that and how much he's learned. But to see him kind of keep going, it's great to see. It's just great to see he and his wife one of the functions, and we laughed about a few of the old times. There's no doubt about it. But anybody who knows me, you're going to find a chuckle in anything.
Mike?
Yeah, Coach Harbaugh said that this would be his best year of coaching ever if he won this game. I'm just wondering, where would this year rank for you as far as memorable, great years of coaching?
That's a great question, because some of the best coaching jobs you maybe ever have done maybe isn't necessarily shown in the win-loss column. I think you know me by now. I don't really look to reflect on things like that. Someday when I'm sitting up at the lake in Montana, I'll probably look back and say, that was pretty cool, man. But right now, it's about what we're doing to try to get ready to win a ball game, and there's a lot of guys on this football team. Every year you go through this stuff, you learn something from your players and things that affect you in life. And you know what? There's some guys on this team that carry a great effect with me for the rest of my life, and that's something that's real.
The other question I had, how important are having a lot of good offensive linemen to do what you want to do offensively, and is that probably the major issue with why your offense has struggled here the last half of the season?
Well, since I've gotten here, I've become a defensive coach, and pretty good at it too, So let's start there. But as I've said from the start, and any coach will tell you, and it's not cliche, it starts up front in a discussion. And you turn on the film, and it's pretty simple. Whichever line is going in the direction they want to go, you're usually going to dominate the game. And, in our case, we've got some guys that are really learning by trial by fire. And that, to me, is positive because they're good players, and we've got a lot going for us in the future. And, they're taking their lumps a little bit, and yet, you know what, every day they come back and get a little bit better, and that's what it's all about.
How were you able to tell that your team bought into what you were selling at Florida when you first got here?
I don't know that bought in and selling. I mean, maybe when they get rid of me, I'll try to go do insurance or something. But it's about honesty. It's about truth. It's about knowing that you care for them and their well-being. And, you'd have to ask the players on that. You know what I mean? So I ain't selling anything. So that's a good thing. I did sell, though. I take that back. I worked at JCPenney's, and I worked at Universal Athletics, where I sold shoes, tennis shoes. Might have been the best thing I ever did.
Jim, this is for a bunch of senior. I'm over here.
Where am I looking? Here we go. All right.
For a bunch of your senior, your guys. Some
You know what
seniors-
we haven't done here? This is amazing to me. We haven't had you say who you are and where you're from.
That's my fault, Coach.
You know what? Who's running this thing? Go ahead. We're going to start with you.
Franz Beard Fighting Gators.
All right.
You got seniors and a few juniors, and this is going to be the last time you coach them. How sentimental is it for you as a coach, particularly in your first year, to have taken these guys to a place they hadn't been before,
Yeah.
and you're going to say goodbye to them?
That's hard. And yet, here's the one thing we've kind of talked about. It's never saying goodbye because they're Gators forever. And what they've done to set this team apart, what they've done to create a legacy moving forward is something that all Gator fans and the University of Florida is grateful for. And they will know as players who have played for me in the past. And it's amazing how many have come and visited us here at the University of Florida. But they'll always be welcome back. And I'm just so proud of how they committed themselves and affect the people, how they brought this freshman class in. It's outstanding. I mean, to see the opening day of workouts and Antonio Morrison taking Martez Ivy and saying, no, you're my lifting partner. That's something pretty special. And there's a lot of those things that went on for creating this team. And you know what? They set a high standard for us moving forward.
Next question on the left, if you could please state your name and outlet.
I'm finally see you're learning. That's good.
Corey Kobick, Fox 66, and
All
NBC
right, Corey.
25 in Flint, Michigan, Colorado State grad.
Hey, all right. I love it.
Can you talk
They
a little
looked
bit?
good the other night, too. I was able to get the game.
Not good enough.
Yeah, not good enough right there at the end. But they've done a heck of a job there.
Can you talk a little about the specific challenges that Michigan presents on offense and defense?
Well, specifics, they got good players. And they've got a quarterback that came in with playing experience that has really adapted well to what they're trying to do offensively and what Drevs is wanting to get across. And you can see that. Numbers defensively kind of speak for themselves. And, they play Big Ten football. And having coached in that league, I kind of know a little bit about it. Whether we're able to stand up to the physical brand at which they play, we'll find out.
Holly Bristow, Fox 35 News, University of Florida alumni.
There you go.
Go Gators.
Chomp, chomp.
So I've got two questions for you. First of all, what's it like hearing Kelvin Taylor's announcement this week and knowing that he's going to be following, hopefully, in his dad's footsteps?
Yeah, right here in this bowl game. And I got to tell you, man, this is a great person, Kelvin. And he's a great Gator, and he's a guy that'll be remembered for all the things that he's given. He plays hard. He's at practice. He does things right in the classroom. He's always early to stuff. He's what you want in a player. And you know what? I'm sure glad that he was here. And I know this, moving forward, he's going to make a really good pro. But more than that, he'll continually come back and give back to the Gators.
Second question, what would a win tomorrow mean to you and the team?
Well, anytime you have an opportunity to compete, you don't get participation ribbons in life. I used to get, I got a couple, second place trophies. I could never win punt, pass, and kick because this guy by the name of John Elway he'd always win that. I don't know why I couldn't do that, but, at the same time, it doesn't matter what we do, each one of us in this room. I mean, you set out, you go get a chance to see who you are and what you're all about, and, that's really what it is. And win or lose, we'll learn from it, and we'll look at the event and see what we can do to get a little bit better.
Jesse Simonton, Miami Herald. We've talked a lot about Treon's kind of struggles the last month of the season. Was he able to kind of step back during this break and kind of look at some of the plays he missed and some of the opportunities that were kind of out there those last couple games? And what are you kind of hoping to see from him?
Yeah, you know what, he's worked his tail off. This is important to him. Being a Florida Gator is important to him. And, he's obviously, there's plays he'd like back. And yet this is another opportunity to go, see how you do. And I'm excited to see him play.
Shane?
Shane Whitehead, WFTV. Back to the Mountain West, New Mexico grad.
Where? Okay, there you are. All right.
We saw Baylor the other night after time to prepare in a
By the way,
struggling-
the Albuquerque Bowl's a great bowl, too.
Thank you.
We had
I
a
know
good
you were
one
there a year before
Yeah,
last.
loved it. Yeah.
We saw Baylor the other night after some time off and struggling because of injuries. They recreate their offense a little bit. You've had time to do that because of some struggles the last couple of games.
Sure.
Can you kind of just give a wink that you've reworked some things, or?
Yeah, it was interesting. I went ahead and pulled out some old Wishbone film. And that triple option, man, that's the way to go. And I told them to go ahead and what the heck. Antonio Morrison, we're going to put him in a neck roll. He's running the option for us.
Mike?
Mike Bianchi, Orlando Sentinel, graduate Interlochen High School. Go Rams.
I love it. Can I see that degree?
The college football playoffs, obviously the semis are tonight. Are you one of those guys who roots for the conference, or is the conference team the team you mostly recruit against and you don't want them to win?
No, I just love watching. I think I've talked about it. I enjoy just watching film and watching good football and seeing what guys are doing. Obviously I spent some time at one of the teams that's playing, and I've got 3 kids that graduated from that university, and there's a bunch of that memorabilia sitting in my house. So, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not rooting for Alabama, but I don't think that has anything to do. I've got friends at Oklahoma on their staff, some friends at Clemson that are on their staff. I'm just excited to see good ball.
Jim, Zach Abelverde, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. You come into your first year, you obviously had a young team. Every week, every practice and game was kind of a new experience. And I know after the East Carolina game, you talked about how you didn't like how they prepared. And you've gone into some big games, some road games, obviously the SEC championship. This is a new experience. Just now that you've been through, the weeks of preparation, how do you feel like your team handled it, and how will it help them moving forward?
Well, I kind of talked to our guys about every day it's about discovery. And all of these opportunities, all of these moments are all things that we can learn from. And then we can go back and study from and see how we can do it better. And really that's how we go about our day-to-day life and in what we preach in our program. And, it's been great. I tell you, I'm proud of the way our guys have carried themselves here in Orlando. To see our whole team there investing in those young kids yesterday that may be less fortunate, than us. That was something that was awesome. And, our guys are getting it. It's more than just about the game of football. It's about what you can do to help somebody else. And I really like that in our guys.
Any dead fish this week?
You know what? We eliminated the dead fish. And no, I think we're good.
We're going to be back in the back here, Coach.
Coach, David Pingalore, News 6 here in Orlando. Jacksonville University graduate. Off football.
Is that in Jacksonville?
Yes, Coach.
Okay, good.
Off the football topic, what, if any, plans do you have into bringing the new year on a game night, and especially a 1 o'clock kickoff?
I haven't really thought that far ahead, to be honest. We've got a luncheon coming up, and then we go to a Focus Friday, and we do some chutes and ladders and do a one reel tonight, and I guess I'll probably think about that when we get up into the hotel room, but I'm not sure I'll probably see the new year come in. I might be tucked into bed getting ready for tomorrow, so.
Any other questions? Dave?
Coach Danny Morales, the Valencia Voice here in Orlando. Just, you mentioned earlier that Michigan plays that Big Ten football. Can you just, the main differences between SEC football and Big Ten football, can you just elaborate a little bit?
Well, I mean, there's just, you build your teams to try to be successful in your side of the conference or whatever. Shoot, guys, this is the University of Michigan, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean? I mean, they've got, like, history, right? I mean, like, real history. Like, people emulate their helmets, right? You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm glad to be playing them, right? Better us than somebody else, right? So, I don't know. We'll do all right. These are pretty cool helmets, too, though. I like these. Yeah, that's cool.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.